What's the name of our podcast?
Name of our podcast is Omni Garage After Hours. After Hours with Omni Garage.
Oh, so After Hours with Omni Garage.
I reckon it's After Hours with Omni Garage.
Perfect.
So welcome to the first episode of, what did we just decide? After Hours with Omni Garage. So After Hours.
Brilliant. Great.
Do you feel a bit nervous? Like first time we're filming a video?
Yeah. I always reckon when you're filming a video for the first time,
Yep.
or when you're starting, like that first little bit, just to get the intro ready, it's
Yep.
like, oh, Lord, nervous. And then it's like, you're away.
Especially like really early days of filming, right? Like the first 5 channels on the video, I remember we spent so much time perfecting every little frame on those videos.
Oh, the first video, remember? First video we made was just like, I don't want my face in it. I want a perfect shot.
You didn't want your face in it. You want it to be in slow motion, in a singlet, spraying glass cleaner.
Maguire's glass cleaner was just
Yep.
like perfect shot. Car was always in frame, and then you did that nice big sweep out to the ocean.
It was some cinematic shots in there. If you haven't seen that video,
Go back
It's,
and check it.
I-
It's the very first video on the channel.
I think it only recently crossed 1,000 views as well. So,
Oh, really?
yeah, it might not even be there yet. To be fair,
It was quite crazy. I remember it was like when we got like 10 views, it was like, man, we've made it.
I feel like we got probably 100 in the first 24 hours, and I felt like we were YouTubers from the get go. But anyway, that aside, welcome
Welcome.
to After Hours by Omni Garage. We're a
It
little
is,
bit.
it is after hours, true. Like, it's Saturday? No, it's not. Sunday.
It is Sunday.
Sunday.
Almost 1 o'clock in New Zealand. So what's that? Saturday for those in the US. But we're not live for our first episode, so I guess we're probably a couple of months behind. I guess the rest of the T.H.O.R group, and that's because you've been enjoying the
I've
sights
been
of
away
Europe.
for 3 months. Yep, went to Europe for 3 months. And
Yep.
so now I'm back. And I tell you what, like while I was traveling around, like I think YouTube kept me alive,
Yeah.
with all the travel, just keep me engaged. And watching the videos was kind of strange. It's like I really want to watch everyone's content. It's really good to see everyone doing well. Lots of cool products coming out, but I miss being able to use any of them.
Yeah, you had a lot of spare time to watch YouTube as well, didn't you?
Yeah.
Didn't you work out you did something like 37 flights
Yeah, something like that.
plus a 4-hour commute the days that you were working?
Yeah. So I just really miss being able to use the products. And
Yeah.
so it's good to be back. I mean, I haven't done any car cleaning, haven't used any products. You've dumped a big box of cool stuff over there for me to try out. But just really nice to get back into it, get the gang back together.
Yeah.
And here we are. So Omni Garage After Hours, the reason why it's called After Hours is because everything we do on Omni Garage happens after hours.
Well, it does. We've got a 9 to 5, keeps us pretty busy during the week. So everything we do is in the evening or more traditionally, probably the weekend, right? So we spend most of our time recording content.
And I guess everyone's wondering, well, how do we get here? We're 2 Kiwi blokes from the other side of the world in New Zealand. How do we get involved with the American YouTube scene, the American detailing scene? So I guess what happened is I was getting married and I needed to find out a way to clean the cars while we were
I was wondering where this was going for a second. Yeah.
getting, we were getting married 4 hours away. And so we had to drive the cars.
Yep.
The cars were part of the wedding. And so how do we get the cars nice and clean? I had to do a rinseless wash.
That's right. And it was just something I was not interested in. You
I've
tried
been
to
trying to
talk me into this for a long time.
Tried to convince you for a long time. Rinseless wash is something that should be in your arsenal. It's something that you should learn how to do because I think it's kind of important. And you just weren't having a bar. You're like, nah, I don't want to do this. This is garbage. I want to get the pressure washer out. I want to make a big mess of myself. And so we made some rinseless wash videos. We bought quite a lot of rinseless wash products, and I started looking around, and I actually found Eddie Clone EC Details YouTube channel.
Yeah, you found him before me.
And I was like, man, this guy has tried a lot of rinseless washes. His techniques seem quite good. He's involved with all the right people. And he had a top 5 rinseless wash video.
Yep.
And I went through and I bought his top 5.
I remember you probably sent me that video and I probably didn't watch it because I was just a big, you got to put out the pressure washer. You got to wash properly, right?
Yeah. You're still, even to this day, kind of still a bit like that, right?
I'm a little bit more converted, but anyways.
And I was like, I'm just going to go through Eddie's top 5. I'm going to try all his products and I'm going to put his top 5 to the test. And we started making videos and we tried one and tried another and tried another. And we sort of just feeling this out and sort of reaching out to Eddie sort of via YouTube, and he did comment on a video, and I was like, wow, this guy has seen our stuff and commented, and started to build a little bit of a connection there, and we started talking backwards and forwards about rinseless washing, what you should be looking for, what you shouldn't be, what you want to see in a product, and sort of tested his top 5. And you got to be careful nowadays, because anyone's top 5 products are really good. They've chosen those top 5 for a reason. So when you get to a top 5 of really decent products, it's super hard to split them. It's splitting hairs. But we talk backwards and forwards, and and then his top 5 is really good. So you should go and try his top 5. And we sort of created our own sort of top 5 products and changed the order around a little bit. And he kind of disagrees with me a little bit, and I disagree with him. But it's good. And we're talking about SEMA, because at the time we're getting ready to go to SEMA, right? So I use the rinseless wash, we get married, and then we go to SEMA. And we meet the guys at the House of Rags, and that was such a cool booth. It was our first time at SEMA.
We were so excited. It was quite funny going to SEMA, right? We'd never been to anything on that scale before, number one. And number two...
We were like kids in a candy shop, like, oh, wow, like this is massive.
That's it. It was like going
We'd been to Vegas before. So Vegas and that whole excitement is something we'd both experienced before. But going to SEMA and going to a show like that is just next level.
I remember we were so excited though to like go and figure out where the booth is and go and meet the guys. And I remember that I think we snuck up on Eddie. I don't think he saw us. I think we might have seen Jamie there first. But just seeing the House of Rags booth and approaching it and kind of you feel like you know these people through the videos, and you don't know them, but you feel like you do.
Yeah.
And what I found that was awesome is that Eddie, when we met him, his personality was just like it was on camera. Jamie, just like on camera. Pan, maybe a bit like on camera. Pan is a real unfiltered guy, like super, super entertaining to talk to.
Yeah.
And we were just able to put some faces, some names there. And I mean, we hung around that booth for hours.
Yeah, we interviewed everyone. We got to know everyone, and we felt super welcomed. It was like a family. It was their first time there, and everyone's sort of releasing their brands, and it was just such a great time. And I remember sitting down next to Eddie, and I'm like, yeah, Glenn and I, we really want to sort of get involved with the podcast or do our own podcast or be involved with that, just as another sort of content filter into channels or something for us to talk about. Because you and I, we're always talking. We went out for a beer the other night, and we were sitting around talking about detailing products. We're like, we might as well turn the camera on and talk about it.
The funny thing is, you always say that. We get in the garage here before we film a video, and we just start talking for half an hour about detailing. Or just a topic.
And some of those discussions are the best discussions we ever have. We talk about business, where the channel's going, talk about new products, talk about other people's YouTube channels, what they did well, what they didn't do well, what we like, what we don't like. And I was just talking to Eddie like that, and he goes, oh, well, actually, Thor's thinking about doing a podcast. And I'm like, oh, okay. I was like, and then I kind of joked, oh, yeah, let's bring that sort of thing international, let's get the Kiwi guys on there and bring this international. He goes, yeah, actually, that's a good idea. And so we didn't really talk about it too much from there, but I kept that in the back of my mind. I'm like, oh, okay, let's see how this new company goes, and let's see how they release stuff. And they had some amazing ideas, obviously, in the background that have started to come through. And then we got back to New Zealand, and we were using Eddie's rinseless wash.
We were.
His Detail Co. rinseless wash.
That one there. Yep.
And I remember just messaging him on WhatsApp and talking backwards and forwards. And then I just said, hey, what's the go with the podcast? And then all of a sudden, we get invited.
We did.
Get invited. We've got our own little set on the T.H.O.R media channel. What are we? 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every Friday.
Correct. That's us. Yep.
And we'll be here every week for the next year or so. And happy to be here. And we're really excited to have the privilege to be able to do that, and the T.H.O.R media to give us this opportunity and a time to be able to do that. And here we are.
We hope we can bring some value along the way as well.
Absolutely.
So I think the way that we kind of think about how this podcast will work is, when back in the day you watched like a DVD and had the director's commentary.
Oh, yeah.
And you go and listen to them talk about the specifics behind a particular shot or why they did something. I kind of think about this podcast as the director's commentary to Omni Garage.
Right, okay.
So gives us an outlet to talk about all those kind of in-between things that wouldn't have necessarily made the cut to a video.
That's a good idea. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, or the behind the scenes to a video.
People don't actually see that in either. They see a really kind of semi-polished sort of thing that happened with some nice shots. They don't really necessarily see the things that went wrong. People do that. We do show that products don't work well all the time. We show products that work well.
Yep.
So it'd be nice to talk about the thinking behind some videos and giving you behind the scenes. I like that.
I think we'll probably have some business chat in here as well, because obviously we work, both a 9 to 5. Omni Garage is a business in itself and the YouTube channel, right? But we also have the detailing arm as well. So, that is something that we offer our clients. So we've got, to juggle 3 things essentially: day job, detailing, and YouTube.
Channel.
And our podcast, actually. So,
Well, now, we've got 4 things going.
so we'll be able to talk a little bit about the mechanics behind, running this as a business, because it's not easy. There's a lot of learns that we can share in there. And you look at it generally, you look at a YouTuber and go, oh my goodness, that must be so easy. You're recording one video a week.
At this podcast now, what you're seeing is Glenn and I and some nice pictures behind us.
Yeah.
But you're not seeing this mess in front of us. I mean, we've got a computer set on a detailing chair that's doing the mic recording with 2 cameras set up on some tripods and some wires. Oh, man.
Cables everywhere.
In a garage, and you guys don't see that. And I think you'll probably find that this is what a lot of people are like.
I think so. It looks a bit more polished in front of the camera than behind. I think the way that we'll try and do this as well is, obviously we're not live today. So live for us can be a bit of a challenge because of the time difference, unless we really get our schedules on lock to be able to have an audience watching us as we do this. So we might do a bit of a combo. We might do some sit-downs, pre-recorded.
Well, what time is 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for us?
I think right now, so we're almost 1 o'clock, and I think it's almost 7 o'clock Eastern Standard
Right, okay.
PM. So we could make this work on a weekend doing a live.
So we would have to do the hours on Saturday for a live. And what time would that be on Saturday?
We would have to be doing Saturday at
6 hours ahead.
3 p.m. So that would be -6. So we'd need to be doing it at -6, like 7 a.m., 8 a.m.,
That's not too unreasonable.
7 a.m., I think, depending on daylight savings.
On Saturday. Yeah, we could. Yeah. Well, we have to, because I think lives will be important for us too to do
I think so. So we'll do some pre-recorded, we'll do some live. We'll just kind of feel this out for a little bit, keeping in mind we're 3 months behind everyone else on the Thor platform. So.
And everyone's done so well. It's
Yeah.
like everyone's releasing really good content. I've been watching it while I've been traveling, and it's kept me entertained. So everyone who's already done that, kudos to you guys. We've come in 3 months. We've seen how everyone else has done, and we're like, okay, well, there's the new standard. So hopefully we've got something sort of similar to match the group.
But we might bring something a little bit different today anyway.
Yeah.
With the pre-recorded. I've loved going on the chat and just seeing all of the comments flow in and seeing that interaction with the audience. So that's something I don't want to miss out on moving forward. But I think that based on where we are in the world, we probably need to kind of just plan that ahead a little bit so we can get on live.
That's not too. It's not like we're getting up at 12 a.m. in the morning.
No, nothing too ridiculous. So I guess for us, where do we go? We talk a little bit about the story. Episode 1.
We need to talk a little bit about you
Yeah.
and I, Omni Garage, how this mess gets sorted. Why us? Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
Oh, look, you can go first.
Why do you want me to go
about
first?
you. I don't
Best
know.
paper, scissors, rock.
Okay, let's go.
Do you want to do best of 3 or just one?
Just one.
Just one big homey one.
And is it just paper, scissors, rock, and you going on
Paper,
rock?
scissors, rock.
Oh, yeah, okay, traditional.
Not paper, scissors, rock, shoot.
Oh, yeah, okay, none of that.
Yeah.
Okay, yep.
Paper,
Scissors, rock.
Paper, scissors, rock. Paper, scissors, rock. Paper, scissors, rock. Paper, scissors, rock.
You knew.
You're going
you knew I
first.
was going to do that.
Tell us your childhood story, brother.
Childhood story. I think, I think we bring this, quite a few years forward. I think we talk about kind of the car aspect and the detailing aspect. No, exactly. So let's kind of bring this to... Let's bring this to where the passion kind of started. So, I mean, for me, I've had a lot of cars as a teenager.
Okay, yep.
Partly because I wrote them off. Partly because I like to plan, but I'm quite impulsive. So I was kind of that teenager who someone said, do you want to trade this car? I'm like, yeah, I'll trade, cash my way.
Oh, yeah, cash your way, because you always thought you had the better product.
Correct.
Yeah.
So I had a lot of cars, not particularly nice cars, but,
What was your first car you had?
First car I ever had was a Ford Laser, 1.6 litre.
Was it green?
Manual, green, yep.
Manual, 2-door or 4-door?
4-door.
Front-wheel drive?
Front-wheel drive, but, with some McDonald's
Ford.
plates under the wheels.
You could always skid them hard with a McDonald's tray.
So that was first car. That one died a sad death.
Yeah.
That was replaced by a, do you remember the Mitsubishi Lignums?
You've told me some great stories about the Lignum. Yep,
Yeah.
station wagon.
Station wagon.
Quite a big car.
Yeah,
Was
so
that auto or manual?
That was an auto, but Tiptronic. So I could turn it into a manual when I wanted to.
Everyone wanted you would do the Tiptronic so that you could sound like you had a manual car when there were some cool people hanging around on the outside.
But you let off the gas as well when you change gears, so it really sounded like a manual.
Yeah.
I even considered doing a manual conversion of that. That was stupid. What was going through
You're
my
going to
head?
put a manual conversion in a car that wasn't even worth it.
I went from that to...
How much are these cars that you're buying?
Oh, okay, those first 2 cars, we're talking in the $3,000 range, so pretty cheap. So then I went to a Mitsubishi...
How are you affording these cars in your team?
My parents bought me the first car.
Yeah.
which was quite a smart play, I think, because it was, we will buy you the car, but you can use it when we allow you to, right? It wasn't like
Right, so
free
they put some
range.
restriction on your driving.
Yeah. So I think at the
And
time,
you bought this when you were 15, when you first got your license?
yeah. So at the time, you could get your learner license at 15 in New Zealand, and you could get your restricted. So meaning you could drive between the hours of, I don't know, like 8 a.m. and 10 p.m.
Right.
by yourself at
Yeah,
15 and a half.
You could, but you could only drive by yourself, no one else in the car.
Correct.
Unless you had an exemption, like you were taking your brother or your sister or family
Yeah, if you had a
member.
full licensed driver with you.
Or
you
if
were
you had a
fine.
work exemption so you could drive to work. Yeah.
So I was 15 and a half at the time.
Have you got a job at this stage?
I did. Yep. I was actually doing quite a bit of writing for different Apple media outlets. So I was published in books. I was working for a magazine called Mac Guide, print magazine, and then a whole bunch of web work as well. So I mean, for a 15-year-old, I was pulling in some decent disposable income.
Photography in the performance car magazine at the stage?
Yep. So photography, performance car magazine. So I go to Auckland quite regularly to do some of that. And then what else was I doing? So I was doing all the publication. I actually had a YouTube channel as well.
Yeah.
And this is in the really early days of YouTube. We're talking like, 06, 07 when YouTube was first out. And
So if you had continued to do YouTube with that YouTube channel for today, you would have been one of the original guys that did really well on YouTube.
I think
the car guys around about 2008 is when some big car channels have really risen. So you were right there, right at the conception of basically.
I stupidly gave up a lot of that stuff. Some of that was due to time constraints. I was really into my cricket at the time as well. So, I had a lot of training, a lot of match commitments on the weekend there. And then just as a teenager as well, right? Going out with your mates and chasing girls and doing all of that stuff, that.
Yeah, and you've got the car, you've got a little bit of income stream. So you're kind of the hot guy around at the moment,
Well, I mean, it was really hard to stay focused. Because you've got so many things going on. You got mates, you got sports, you got, people start having parties at that point in time as well.
And we don't finish school until we're 18 years of age. So you're not quite there yet, right?
No.
You're still in school. You're still, trying to work out life a little bit. So yeah, you've got a lot going on there.
So went through those two cars, and then I got to Mitsubishi Galant. So it was like the Lignum, but the sedan version.
Gotcha. And what are you doing in these cars? Are you being naughty or are you being good?
No, I'm being pretty good. Like, the occasional speeding ticket.
Yeah.
Probably the naughtiest thing I'm doing in these cars is driving with passengers when I shouldn't have been.
Yeah.
And I do remember one day I got caught out by my mum, actually. Yeah. I was pulling up to a roundabout. Roundabouts are huge in New Zealand, guys. Like, not huge as in like they're massive, but they are everywhere. And I pulled up to this roundabout.
They sort of use
one day.
roundabouts to replace traffic lights as a way of being able to filter traffic and keep that moving.
In smaller towns, where you don't have a huge flow. Anyways, I pulled up to the to this roundabout, I remember, and my mum pulled up to the other side of the roundabout. And I had a couple of girls in the car with me. Yeah. And let's just say that those girls ended up having to walk home from that location. Mum wasn't too happy about that.
Fair enough.
So that was the kind of trouble I was getting into there. I had that car. I put a big bore exhaust on it. I went away for a cricket tournament one weekend. My dad had taken it into the exhaust shop and got it all foam filled and baffled. And I had the last laugh there because do you remember the Varix exhausts? Remote control.
Butterfly valve. Open and close. Yeah.
Okay, I got a Varix after that. It cost me about half the price of the car for the Varix exhaust, but I could cruise around quietly.
All right. So you're quite deep into modifying cars at this stage. Well, not deep, but you're tampering with stuff. You're definitely heavily involved in the car scene at this point.
I would do the audio stuff.
Are you 18 at this stage?
I'm probably 17.
Have you got a full license?
Yeah, got my full license at that point.
Right,
so I can travel with my passengers. And then I went from Galant to Mitsubishi GSR. So kind of like under the Evo 4. I think they had like a 1.8 litre turbocharger, not the 2.
Yeah, cool.
And then I went to Subaru WRX. I had a 2001,
right,
I believe.
We're getting real hot boy now, aren't we? We're getting real cool.
We were getting to about the $15,000 car kind of range there.
Are you still working with the media outlets?
At that point, I was working full-time doing photography at Skyline, so like the Gondola and Rotorua, so like in the tourism type industry, and I was doing that as I've got no idea what I want to do. So this is how you're affording this as an 18-year-old kid, is that your full-time work, and you're blowing all your money. Are you living at home still? No, I had just moved out flatting, so I was in my first flat at that point. I still had some pretty decent savings though from all of that media work I'd done over the years. So I was really just kind of supporting my lifestyle through that income plus a bit of savings at the time. And then I went completely baller. I was 18 years old. I got rid of the WRX, which was about probably at the time I sold it, maybe worth 10, 11,000.
Up at that time?
Oh, it had 160,000 clicks on it. The turbo was done.
Yeah, so you were just
It was done for.
You'd just been pushing that car along.
Yeah. And then I went to a Holden Commodore Ute, 6-litre V8.
You're lucky to still be alive.
I was very lucky to still be alive after that because, I mean, I was 18 with a $40,000. That was the used price of that car. It was $65,000 brand new. So I spent $40,000 on it. At 18, 6-litre V8, rear-wheel drive, no weight in the back.
So you've committed all your money to this car. Everything you had was blown into this car.
No, I still had some savings because I still wanted to be a little bit responsible, and I had, house purchases in the back of my mind.
Right, okay.
I think I must have put down, I had a loan of $14,000 on that car. So I put down, 26, and then I borrowed 14. So I was still kind of only at the point of the previous car.
Right,
I just had a lot of equity in that vehicle at the time.
And a loan. So now you've got some responsibility, really.
Yeah. So that car there, that was the point where I went, wow, I've got this really nice car. It was, I can't remember what the color was called, Spitfire green maybe. It was like a very lime green.
You've gone hot boy. You've gone, police, pull me over and give me a ticket.
It had 22-inch chrome wheels on it. So stock on that car was 18-inch. But no, we went to 22 with the low profile tyres that cost an absolute bomb. And I probably cheaped out on tyres too, given how quick I would blow through them on the back of that, because you put your foot down and your rear wheels are spinning.
Right, so you're skidding the rear.
I think Australia had this ute at the time, and I think it was sold under the Pontiac brand. I'm pretty sure Holden, part of General Motors, sold it in the US.
And it being a ute, because it's a two-door ute, really light in the rear, so anything you do just slides sideways.
Yep. And look, I didn't get in trouble in that car either. It went quick, and I did drive it quick. But the main way I got in trouble with that car again was passengers.
Right, because you can only have two passengers plus you.
It's a two-seater.
Oh, two-seater. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
But, we'd try and fit a third person in there however we could. I'd never 5 deep, but we'd try and fit extra passengers in. But that car for me was, okay, I've got a nice car now. Let me go out and find some detailing products. And I used to just love, I parked it in the garage at the flat I had at the time. And I used to love using Maguire's products on it. So I went out and the first product I bought was Maguire's spray wax. You know that yellow bottle?
Oh, yeah. Quick
smells
spray.
like Skittles.
Yeah.
Quick wax.
They still sell that, don't they? Quick wax.
I would use it as like a rinseless.
All in one.
It was an all-in-one. I would just go in the garage, car dirty, spray it down, one microfiber towel.
At least you started at like a kind of a nice entry point.
At a reasonable level.
You went to Maguire's, which is quite a on their sort of brand. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I went to Repco, which was just down the road from me, and that's where I bought my products from.
So Repco's like a wholesale sort of car part sort of thing. It's like a shop. It's like AutoZone.
It is. It might have been Repco. It might have been super cheap. We've got two in New Zealand that sell kind of generic car brands, but
they're the same as the AutoZone or the car aisle at your sort of local store.
At the time, it was Maguire's products that you were able to easily pick up. So that was where the passion started for me, and I guess from there I went from that car. I sold it, and
how old are you now?
When I sold that car, maybe 20.
Right.
And I was.
Are you still working at the photography place?
I had just started working for a bank.
Yeah.
At that point in time, and I was doing a lot of kilometres.
Right.
And driving a 6-litre V8. I was part-time at this bank as well, and travelling a distance. I actually went like complete 180. I went from that car, which was a 2007, to a 1996 Toyota Corolla. I put the money in the bank, set it aside knowing that a house would be coming pretty soon, and I spent like $2,000 on this Corolla.
So you got your money out of your car,
I got my money out of my car. I think I bought that car for about 40 and sold it for 35-ish. It had 12,000 kilometres when I bought it, and I sold it at 72,000 kilometres.
And how crazy is it now? Because that car basically is not made anymore. Holden brand basically doesn't exist anymore anywhere, and so that car's probably now, if you kept it, was probably worth quite a lot of money.
That car is probably worth about 50 to 60 right now, but the car that has been my dream car and always will be my dream car until I get it is the performance variant of that car. So Holden had, They're no longer in operation, but they had a specialty brand called Holden Special Vehicles, HSV, and they made a variant of that vehicle with I think the LS3, so 6.2 litre V8, and it was just tougher.
They look amazing, unicorn car. You're going to spend a lot of money to try and get that. And that's the car. If I was to define you by a car that I know you buy, that's the car you would talk to me a lot about, and that's the car that if you had one, I'd be like, that's him.
Yeah. So you and I, we're going to go to Australia at some point in the next, goodness, I don't know. Hopefully, some point in the next 5 years, we're going to go to Australia, because in New Zealand, there's probably about 10 of those cars listed at any particular time. In Australia, you can probably find about 100. So we're going to go to Australia. We're going to look for one. We're going to buy one.
That hasn't got hail damage.
And we're going to ship it back. And I'm going to keep that car for the rest of my life.
So
so you and I will be off to Oz one day to
find one of those.
To go and buy one of those cars. It's got to be manual, got to be white.
Right. So you're working at the bank. You've downscaled your car to something more practical. You're trying to get yourself into a house. And how old are you now? You're like 25?
Not 25. No, I probably had that car for a year before we changed to, I don't even know what we went to after that car. We might have gone back to another Ford Laser after that. We bought a house in between. So we bought a house. We had just had a daughter. So we drove cheap cars for quite a while. When we had our daughter, we went, okay, we need a vehicle that is going to be safe. So I got married, bought a house, had a daughter, kept those 2 cheap cars, and then we bought, again, another Holden. I think it was like a 2014 maybe, Commodore wagon.
So this is the car I know of.
This is the car you know of, like that silver one, the wagon, lots of room in there for, car seat and everything.
Big kind of car, a lot of room, comfortable to drive for long trips.
And this is when...
Family wagon.
You would have come along. This is when you would have come into the picture.
You bought the White House?
Yep, so we were in that White House in Cambridge, and we had that car, and that's where, again, it was like, okay, we've bought that car was a demo, so it had like 2,000k on it when we bought it. And that was, okay, almost taking me back to the original Holden days where I need to get back into this detailing game again, because I hadn't done anything with those 2 previous cars, because I just
sat there and
didn't really care. And had that new car.
Gotcha.
So that was when we went to the US that year. Actually went to the US just prior to having our daughter, and that's when I went on a Maguire shopping spree.
That's a good place to go for a Maguire shopping spree. Where'd you go, like Walmart?
I think it was Walmart, and I came back with half a suitcase full of every Maguire's product I could get my hands on. Yeah. And we must have only been back for a very short while, and that's when, you came over one day, and I think you saw the shelf, and that's kind of where we kind of kicked off our friendship. Yeah. We interrupt this episode to bring you product of the week, which is Armour Detail Supply Amplify.
So we use this product primarily as a drying aid.
Yep.
So once you finish, washing the vehicle, we couple of spritzers onto the panel, and then we just use that as an assistance to give some lubrication between basically the microfiber, the drying towel, and the panel, so that we're not inducing any marring and scratching. And we find that product's perfect for that.
Yeah, this is particularly handy when we're doing rinseless washes, because we can get away with leaf blowing the car. But when we're doing a rinseless and we potentially have polymer spots that may be left behind depending on which product we're using, Amplify as our drying aid means that we get that really nice slick finish. SiO2 product as well, so you do get some really good longevity out of it.
Yeah, so it's got silica in it, it's got some polymers in it. You're right. Nice and slick, perfect drying aid, smells fantastic. They reckon you'll get about sort of 2 months worth of protection. You can use this as on your weekly washes, and it doesn't really stack too much, and we have no problem with it at all.
No, this is our drying aid of choice. It's on the shelf behind us. We use this week in, week out. You can get yours at thehouseofrags.com. Link in the bio.
So my life story to that point is very much different to yours.
I feel like yours is a bit more, I wouldn't say organised, but a bit slower paced, a bit more law friendly.
Yeah, a bit more traditional, like, would you say?
Yeah.
Not by like...
You wouldn't have many cars up until that point.
No, so I guess my childhood was similar to Glenn's, went to school, did the normal school-related stuff. And I guess where this would start is that parents would always be cleaning cars in the garage. Like at the weekend, like your mum and dad, they'd pull the car out and they'd do the housework clean, and they'd clean the car with the sponge and the bucket and the soap, and you'd have a little go, and you'd just, And I guess Do you remember, like, if you did, like, you would have, like, a teacher-only day where you wouldn't go to school? Mm-hmm. But we also did this thing where it was like a working bee day or a work day. And so you would not go to school, but there would be some sort of expectation that you would stay at home, do some work, like you might do some weeding for your mum or you might go around to grandma's house, but you would have to come to school the next day with some money. Part of work day is having that day off.
Okay, I've never heard of this before.
So mum would pay us $20,
Yep.
and the workday thing would be to wash the car. So mum would go $20, wash the car. And I just remember washing the car, the bucket in the sun, hot day like it is out here, getting water spots everywhere. And I remember going, Mum, I've done a real good job. I've even hand dried it.
Okay. What do you use? Like a towel?
Just a towel.
Okay,
just
great job.
Towel out of the cupboard and hand dried it. And so I guess that's where car cleaning passion is for me. Like,
Yep.
cleaning cars all the time, just based off the workday. And so I go to school at 15, same age as you, get your license, get my first car, Honda Civic with VTEC.
Oh, yep. Okay, that's not a bad first car.
Paid a lot of money for that car. And so in New Zealand, you can have third-party insurance or you can have full insurance.
And it's not mandatory in New Zealand. We don't have to have car insurance like you do in the States.
No.
A lot of cars are uninsured here.
Yeah, so I get third-party insurance. I spend about $7,000 on this car.
Yep.
Honda Civic, I don't remember the year, but it would have been under a 2000 model, bright red, two-door VTEC. It was nice. Like, it was like, man, hot boy with this car.
How did you pay for this car?
So I paid half,
Okay.
and my parents paid half.
Yep.
I, at the time, had a job at the warehouse, which is like not a convenience store, but
It's like a small Walmart.
Yeah, like a very small Walmart. And I
Yep.
worked at the warehouse. I worked 2 days after school, and I made enough money to basically save up to get that car.
Okay, so you had to come up with half of it. Mum and Dad paid the other half.
And I had third-party insurance.
Okay.
I love that car. Like, I remember getting home on the first day, cleaning it, setting the radio up to the right settings, adjusting the seat so you're cool, getting the mirrors all dialed in, like, this is my first,
Were you detailing from that car? Is that like...
Yeah. I would say that would be my first, real...
So you were right off the bat.
I'm just using the stuff that mum and dad had in the garage.
Okay, yep.
It was like Armour All soap or dish soap or something.
Yep.
Some sponge that's full of dirt. And
Chamois.
Yeah, chamois. Yeah, your mum and dad
Yeah.
had a chamois.
Yep.
Like a square chamois like that, roll it up, put
Yep.
it in the tube, clip it up, and you'd unroll it and it would
Yep.
be dry. Yeah, chamois. Chamois was how I was drying cars.
Okay.
I forgot that. So I do I go down to Repco and I buy this little bolt-on tip on the exhaust, make that look real cool.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So you've gone the shortcut way to get
you go
your
full
good
exhaust. And I just have
You go
this
little clip on.
little clip on. And I remember I saved up to buy some Fusion speakers.
Okay, so you're into the audio.
Yeah, 6x9 Fusion speakers.
Yep.
I got a little head unit and my dad installed them for me. So at the back of the parcel tray, he had drilled out 2 holes for my 6x9 speakers to sit in the back there.
Okay.
And I thought it was real cool. I had the Fusion sticker on the little back.
So you've done some custom setup there too.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
okay, yeah.
And I had that little, that little fuse box thing that sat by the battery that everyone used to do.
Yep. You'd sub?
I had no sub. I just
Okay.
had
But you had 6x9s.
6x9s with a decent head unit, ramps right up with the bass, real
Yep.
doof, 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 doof.
Okay.
And I had that car for not even 6 months because I rolled it down a bank.
With third-party insurance.
Third-party insurance, I rolled that car down a bank, complete write-off, lost all my money in that car because third-party insurance only covers you if you smash into somebody else. Car gone.
Yeah, it doesn't
all
cover
my money
anything
gone.
for your own car. Do you know what? You and I had that in common. I rolled my first car down a bank as well.
Ford Laser.
Ford Laser. Probably different circumstances, but...
Yeah. It was just me in the car.
So you've just written that car off. You're getting no money from the insurance company.
Yeah.
What next?
So I'm using mum and dad's cars.
Okay. For how long?
My auntie had a spare car that I used. So I used her car for a little bit. And then it was kind of like I'm kind of in those teenage years where I think everything's cool and I've got to have something that looks cool. So we're really struggling to find a car that A, I have enough money for, and B, what looks cool. So I end up with a Mitsubishi Lancer,
Yes.
1.8 litre GSR 2-door.
Okay. Yep.
And that cost me $3,000, I think, was all the money I had.
Mum and dad chipping for
So
that
I've
one?
gone from a $7,000 car, just me, I think, to
Yeah,
$3,000.
to 3. Okay.
And it's rough around the edges. I remember it's a 1998 model. Had pretty low Ks on it, and that was me. And that was the first car where I really started to do detailing. I remember hand polishing that car.
Oh, yeah, like...
with a tin
Okay.
of cut and polish and a little microfiber applicator pad. And I polished that car by hand, and I did no scratch removal, probably added scratches, but I made that car. It was like a faded red everywhere, but I brought the color back. That's all I did.
Yeah.
Was I made it look more red.
Is this the car that was known later as the Little Red Racer?
Yes, yes. So this had like rust at the front. So I remember my dad used to be a car painter early along, and so he had like peeled that back, and he like I remember him telling me, go down to the paint shop and ask for a can of spray paint mix, and I'll spray that, and we'll kind of get rid of the rust.
Okay, yep.
So we did a few things like that together. He taught me how to change a tire, etc., etc. But I didn't do anything really to that car. Didn't have a stereo or anything in it because I had no money.
Did you not pull the stereo out of the other car when you crashed it?
I don't think so. I think it all just went part of the just went to the
wreck it.
write-off record place. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I'm still working at the warehouse. I'm trying to get through school, and at that point, the car gets parked in the garage because I go to university.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went to Otago University, did my Bachelor of Science, and I then come back to Tauranga where we live, and then I start my first job in healthcare.
Okay, and that car's
So
still
I don't
parked
have
up.
a car for that whole time that I'm at university. I don't have anything. I'm walking around. I come back, that car stayed in the garage, and I start my first job in healthcare, and I have that car now with some mobility around me. And so then I move into an apartment in town with that car, and that's the story of the Red Racer.
I love the story of the Red Racer.
So
Guy just took the absolute mickey out of you.
Yeah, so I'm earning decent money now. Me and my wife were renting a house. We're not married at this time, but we're renting a house, an apartment in town. And I don't know why, but we went to a real posh hotel, the Hilton in Auckland, on the waterfront.
Right on the waterfront. That was always the poshest hotel in Auckland for quite
Always
some time.
the poshest
It would cost
hotel.
you a pretty
So
penny
I'm
to get a
pulling
night
up
there.
in this little crappy car at the front with the concierge guy. He comes out, and I'd paid extra to have it parked on site.
Valet parking.
Valet parking.
Okay.
So you get out of the car, right? You get out, and he looks at you like, "What are you doing here?" And I give him the keys, and I said, "Oh, right." I remember there was a G-Wagon parked over here, and that had a .com number plate on it.
Oh, so that was Kim.com's
I'm
car.
guessing that's Kim.com's car.
Still got
So
that.
that's the kind of level of cars we've got parked there, and the type of people that would be staying there. And so he gets in this car. He must have been embarrassed as I was as well. And he drives this car around the back of the hotel and parks it around the back somewhere.
Not next to Kim's car.
Not out front at all.
But you pay for valet.
Paid for valet, but I don't know where he parked that car. Anyway, stay the night, right. The next one you come out and go, "Yeah, can I have this car?" And he goes, "Oh yeah, the Little Red Racer." I'm like, "Oh, that's okay. I've got to get rid of this car."
Okay. So how long...
That is the story where I go, "Look, I'm embarrassed by this. I'm earning a little bit of money. I can't continue to live life in this Little Red Racer. It's a 2-door, not enough room. I had this car. Okay, time to get rid of it."
Okay.
So at the time, me as a kid, my dream car that I see around and about is a Subaru WRX.
So you've only owned 2 cars up until this point?
Up to this point.
Okay.
Now I'm 20, not 21. I'm like 22 now.
Okay.
22 or 23.
Yep.
And so I'm like, okay, I learn about Subaru WRXs. I always wanted the wagon version.
Mm-hmm.
And so I learn about it. What's the difference between STI? What's the difference between WRX? How much money is this going to cost me? What kind of variant do I like? Do I like the Stink Eye, Bug Eye?
Yep.
Or do I like the Hawkeye? And I'm like, well, I really like the Hawkeye version because it's the last iteration before they went to the new shape. So 2007 was the last time.
Yep.
Early 2007 was the last time before they went to that new shape. I'm like, well, I'm going to get the last iteration of this car because I feel like that's the most modern version of it, and I'll get it. They didn't produce that car in STI. They only produced it in a WRX.
Not in the wagon anyway, right?
So it's a 2007 WRX 5-speed manual, not STI, very low kilometres, around about 50 or 60,000 kilometres. So I bought that car I traded the Little Red Racer in, and I bought that car for like, not a lot of money.
I feel like you've said somewhere around 14.
I think
I've got
so. It
14
might have
in
been
my
14 or 15 plus trade-in. So that would have taken me, I got like 3,000 for trade-in. So I don't know, a touch over 10 grand. Maybe call it 13 grand.
Yeah.
And so I get the loan and I start paying for that car, and I'm living in the apartment at this time.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I'm living in an apartment, how do I care for this car? I've got a little bit of detailing experience with some crappy products at home. But when you're in an apartment, no running water, I've got a single car park. I can't clean. I can't do anything. So I take this car to like the pressure washer system over at Papamoa.
So like a just self-service car wash.
Yeah, you put like a couple of dollars in and you get the foamy soap and you foam the car down and then you pressure wash it. I knew enough about car cleaning not to use the crappy brushes.
Okay. Yep.
But this car had scratches on it and it was really nice condition. And so I just did that. I just drove it over to Papamoa. I foamed it down. I pressure washed it off. And then I dried it probably with some detail spray. And I'm experimenting with car cleaning products. You know, I probably started with Armor or Turtle Wax. And then I slowly, at the time, because I had this boy racer looking car, you know, I started buying the Performance Car Magazine, NZ Performance Car Magazine, the company that you used to work for. And advertised in the first or second page of that magazine is Maguire's products.
Always. Yep. I remember
And
that.
it's Maguire's and it's logoed by Smith's Group. And I'm like, okay, so these products, like I've been convinced into the marketing scheme right there. I'm like, Maguire's products is the products I should be using because they're in the car magazine. They're the one with the shiny cars. Maguire's is the best products on the planet. So I go down to Repco or Supercheap and I buy Maguire's products. And I start flicking through the catalog, looking at all the Maguire stuff, looking at the shelf, going, yeah, I'm going to buy every single one of them one day. You know, as you do.
Yep. You want the whole line because at that point in time it was... You didn't consider other brands either. You just went, Maguire's must be the best. I've got to have every.
Well,
every
yeah, when you're
on
at the car shop, when you're at those shops, you've only got a small selection of each brand, and they might stock one or two products of each and a few crappy towels. At the time, the microfibers were really expensive.
Yes.
You would spend $30 to $50 on one microfiber towel.
Yeah, I remember that. So you would have had, I remember, it hung around for a long time, like that yellow
Drying towel.
You would have had that since like you got into Maguire's.
Yeah. And so that's when I discovered the Quick Wax that you've already talked about. The black bottle with the yellow writing smells really nice. And so I'm using Quick Wax to shine the car exactly like you are. And then a new product had come out called a waterless wash.
Yes, okay.
And it was in like a silver bottle, like a white silver bottle. And I read on the back that you could spray this product on, kind of a reasonably clean car, and you could just wipe it off. And I'm like, well, that is perfect for me, who's in a garage with no running water. I'm sick of spending $10 to drive over to the coin-operated car wash type do-it-yourself job. I can do this at home. And that's how I was cleaning the car.
So you were doing like rinseless, waterless since way back.
Yeah, waterless wash since way back. And you and I and your family and whatever had met one or two times in Rotorua at like dinners or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I didn't really know you that much, but connected through family, right? And then one day, you had invited me another time, hadn't you?
Yeah, I feel like you've been invited to my daughter's birthday party, maybe first birthday party, but you used to find excuses to... I see you catching your drip there. That's nice.
Yeah, because people are going to think I wet my pants when I got like water over me. Remember, so the reason why we look stupid right now compared to you guys in the US, it's
I don't actually know if anyone can hear you.
It's summer here.
Yeah, there you go.
And it's 25 degrees and we're in a garage with the garage door closed.
Yeah.
So it's hot, it's humid. So that's the reason why we got water with ice in it that's melted everywhere.
We do. And it's a bit too early in the day to have a whiskey or something sitting there, isn't it? So maybe for the live stream. Yeah. No, actually live stream, we're going to be 7 a.m. Maybe not for the live stream.
Yeah. Anyway, carry on. So carry on. This is the point where we kind of start to merge, right?
Yep. So I think we'd invited you over a couple of times and you were always too busy, right? Like a little bit, you just kind of, you're an introvert.
I'm busy studying all the time, man.
You're busy studying. You're an introvert. You just like to stay at home and watch. It wasn't probably YouTube back then, but just chill, you know?
Chill.
Like don't go anywhere unless you really have to or you get dragged along. So you must have got dragged along one day. Because I remember that you came over.
It was a weekend, right?
Yeah.
You'd just moved into the new big house.
Yep.
And we were going to the Vinger Boys concert.
We were. Okay, so we were doing concerts. It would have been... I don't remember what year this was. Year's kind of irrelevant, but I remember that you came over.
We were under the age of 30.
Oh, yeah,
so
wow.
We must have been 25, 20... I don't know. Let's say somewhere between 25 and 30.
I'm thinking this is... Nah, it's longer than that. Oh, yes, yeah. I think we're talking like 8 or 9 years ago.
Mm. So we're kind of 25. Let's say 25.
Yeah.
Somewhere
I'm thinking.
And so I get this car real shiny. I've just bought the WRX. I'm real excited taking on a long trip. Yep. And you live over like a nice windy hill over the Kaimais and down and decent drive. Nice. I've got a cool car, so I'm really going to give it heaps and came up to you. I'm real proud of it, you know. And we turn up to this bloody big house. And I just remember, oh my God, these guys are cashed up, like super rich. And like, we go to the Vinga Boys concert and have a good time, and and then we do. That's right. You had all this mulch, this black mulch.
Yes, we did. We had it delivered. We had some gardening to do.
So we're helping you do the mulch.
Yep.
Move the mulch around. And the thing that really stuck out of my mind is you had that no bugs or no spiders.
Oh yes.
In a ready to mix big container, and I remember how much that cost, and I was like, whoa.
So this is like just a house spider treatment.
Yeah.
Keep your bugs away.
I'm like cashed up, and got this car, and it took you out for a drive. You could say this.
Yeah, I think this was actually the previous day, wasn't it? So the mulch was the next day,
right? Okay.
When you felt like you couldn't leave the area. But I remember the lottery was at about $30 million.
That's right.
And we thought, hey, do you know what? Let's all chip in. Let's go buy a ticket, and we can kind of live out our dreams tonight and talk about what we could do. And I remember you said, "Oh, I'll drive." I think your car was, out in the it was parked in the driveway for sure. And we were in a 50 km an hour. So what's that like? I don't know, 25 mile an hour residential area. And
like a little where you live, like a little housing
just a little residential area. And I remember I'd said to you, when you get out of here, it goes onto a highway, you'll be able to, give it some. And no, well, what you did is you pulled out of the driveway, and you must have mistaken highway for main street of the residential area, and you just gave it some.
We were
down
cooking
the main street. I don't know what speed we were traveling, but what I do know is that, at the time, one of New Zealand's most decorated Olympians, Eric Murray, the rower, he was living in the area, just a few doors down, and he was out for a walk with his family and the dog, the dog Gucci. And I just remember the wife jumped out into the middle of the road, like flagging us to slow down because you're hooning it at, I don't know, 3 figures? I don't know.
We weren't going 3 figures.
Okay, we were going quicker than 50. Yeah. And we were in a low gear, so we probably sounded like we were just charging.
I just was so excited to get in the car with the boys,
And I remember that obviously we weren't going to stop because what we were going to tail between our legs, really, really sorry. I remember you just went around.
We were out of there. I was getting the hell out of there, man.
And sure enough, we hit the highway, and you must have just been shaking because we were on the highway where you can go 100, and we were probably traveling 50 there because you're probably like, if we average out our speed on this trip, we're technically all right.
Yeah. If you divide it by the number, yep. We're good.
I remember we bought our lotto ticket, we did what we were doing out, and we called the girls who were sitting at home, and I remember saying, open the garage door, move a car out and make a space for us. We're coming in hot.
We're going to fly under the radar. We can't be caught.
And we found a different way. So we didn't come the same way back into the subdivision. We came a different way. And I remember you fanged it up the driveway, straight in the garage door. No sooner had we pulled in that garage door, that it
was like a James Bond scene.
The door was going down, and we're like, oh no. We were expecting a knock at the door. That didn't come, but goodness. Do you know what? It's quite funny because you call. We've got this thing where if I want to park my car in your garage or whatever, you call me entitled. You parked in my garage from day one.
Yeah, I did too. Yeah, so entitled. Just assume that you can just park in someone's garage.
So you had the car there, and then obviously we went to the Vinga Boys concert, had our evening out, did the mulching and everything the next day, and I feel like we did some car washing that following day. Because your car was in the garage
remember,
now.
So at this point, I'm buying Maguire's products. I'm really in tune with Maguire's products. You've just come back from the US with Maguire's products, and I see your shelf, kind of like that. I see your shelf, and it's full of Maguire's products, and that's kind of like where we connected. I feel was like, wow. So this guy's into car cleaning. I'm into car cleaning, and I remember you pulled out your pressure washer, and we foamed the car down with.
We did. We used Geon foam, is what I had.
Geon foam, because you're a big Geon guy. You had started to branch out maybe a little bit. And I was like, oh, this is really expensive. This product's real, but cool. We foamed the car in the sun, right in the sun. And I guess from that day forward was like where we would started to started to really talk about car cleaning stuff.
Yeah, it wasn't that much later, to be fair, that, we up sticks and moved. So you were living in Tauranga, we were in Cambridge. So, I don't know, 45-minute travel between the two. Not an easy drive either. And it wasn't long after that.
We'd come over a couple of times, and we'd done been out for a barbecue or hung out.
Yeah.
We'd done a couple of other trips, so we were definitely, the friendship was growing at that point, I'd say.
And we come to the apartment, stayed over at New Year's, and I remember one time, me and my wife were driving home. We're like, why are we living here? Our friends are over these ways.
Yeah.
Why are we living here? And we're quite impulsive like that. We had the house listed and bought a new house pretty quickly.
Yep.
And turns out we bought on the same street.
Yes.
So
Well, the
literally,
street was like an oval shape. You were on one side of the street, and we were at the other side.
yeah. So we were 2 minutes away from each other, and we just spent more time hanging out, doing stuff in the garage, and I don't know why we decided to record our first YouTube video.
I remember because we were sitting down. You had that couch. Remember that nice green couch with the
Yep.
lazy boy thing? And you and I would sit there all the time, and we'd watch YouTube channels. We'd watch YouTube. Or actually, you know what we would do is that when you've got Apple TV.
Yes.
And you know how when the TV goes blank and it has a screensaver coming through?
Oh, yep.
I just remember sitting there one day and we're like, what are we doing? We're already doing all this car cleaning stuff. We're already hanging out. We're already talking about products, what you're going to buy. And I had known that you already done YouTube before. And I said, why don't we just turn the camera on and start doing this YouTube thing? Like, why don't we just video what we're doing? It was a great idea because we said to each other that if we could make enough money to pay for us to go into a car show,
Yep.
we would class that as success.
So we were talking, $50 here and there
Yeah.
to be able to cover
That
that.
would class as being successful. And then I guess you and I hummed and hawed and talked about it. You know how you never really do anything.
Yep.
And I'm sort of learning a little bit more about YouTube and I'm asking you lots of questions. So how do we get paid? What is ad revenue like? How do you make your money from something where you're not actually selling anything? And then we went away on a New Year's holiday.
We did, and we went away to the location we went for way too long.
Yes.
I think we did 7 days in a town where you can probably tick everything off in 2.
Yeah,
So
we
had a
were
lot of free
we were
time.
in Napier. Down at the water, Napier. It's a nice place to be in summertime. It was really hot. It's a nice winery area. Not a lot of tourist things to do during the New Year period, but
A lot of eating, a lot of drinking.
yeah.
And we must have just woken up one day. We did, because it took us like the
It
whole
was
day to film.
New Year's Eve, wasn't it?
Yeah. So we just went out with did we have a gimbal then? No, we bought the gimbal after, didn't we?
No. We had a gimbal. You had bought a gimbal down there. I think you'd bought a gimbal down there, so we recorded on an iPhone.
We did. We went iPhone with an Osmo 2 maybe at the time from DJI. And we just went out
No
and
mics, no nothing.
we had no idea what we were doing. All we did is just a video of you WRX. I mean, you can see it on the channel. It's the first
Go
video
back to
still
the
on
very
the channel.
first, and there's just a little bit of music behind it. It's a couple of shots, sort of like a slow-mo driving, sort of like clean the windscreen, hop in. It's real cringe to look at it. But we think it's hilarious, and we pull up to someone's house, make it look like it was ours, and sort of this big pan shot at the end, and a little bit of acceleration, a little bit of hot boy about it.
I just found it quite funny because you wanted, your number plate to be blurred, so you took your registration sticker out. And we scrutinised every last frame of that video to make sure it was perfect, the transitions. When you're pulling into that house at the end, your plates are in the car. So we've gone really careful to just remove. Why do you remove plates? It's the stupidest thing. You drive down the road.
Yeah, because you've got
people
this
see
fear
your
that
plate.
someone can find you,
It's like, find me, all good.
Yeah, I'm going to publish this video to the world, and everyone's going to know who I am overnight.
But we left it in the final clip, so it was like pointless, absolutely pointless what we did there. But that was where it started, and I feel like when we returned from that trip, I'm pretty sure our second video might have been hella horns installing them.
Possibly, yeah.
Could have been something else. Like, I can't fact check right now.
Yeah, because I would have got
hella
hella horns as a Christmas present, and so that would have been it. Yeah.
And then since then, it has been pretty consistently.
We released that video on midnight, so that right
Yes.
on 12 o'clock, because it was a New Year release video, and we had no name for the channel. So I remember we just put everything in, and we just did an auto-generated thing. The last one I remember came up was Omni Garage, and so Omni means everything garage related. So we're like, let's crack into it.
Yeah. So that was the inception, I guess, is, little trip away with, I guess, the passion having built previously.
Yep.
It was no purposeful decision to go, let's start a YouTube channel and let's then turn it into a detailing biz. Everything kind of just flowed from there, didn't it? And
Yeah, from that first leap of pressure to be in to release this first video right on midnight. And so here we are, and I guess we made some videos. We were trying to work out what's good, what isn't. Do we need to be going to car shows? Do we need to be getting the hot release? So you look at the first couple of those videos as kind of car shows, because we thought, lots of people, a lot of cool stuff. That might do well. That doesn't really. We start doing some tool stuff. We start doing some car part installs. We start doing a little bit of detailing. Now, we kind of decided that detailing is a real easy entry point for us to enter into.
it's also where the passion started too. So
Low
something
cost.
that we're interested in. We're not filming it because it makes money or it's easy to make content on. We're filming it because, the barrier to entry for us and people watching as well is low. But we love browsing the catalogs and
Yeah.
getting the new products. So hence why we kind of settled on that as a channel theme.
And we just start detailing, and then what happened after that?
We just started making videos every week, every fortnight, pretty irregular. Did a couple of full details. So I remember that we did, a massive 100-hour detail on your WRX.
Yep.
Did the first paint correction on that. And I mean,
We're getting into ceramic coatings at this time, and so we're trialing new products, and we're working out a wash technique and a polishing technique, and we're just building on our own stuff, and really liking it. The videos aren't doing that well, but we do get monetized. So we got monetized within 8 months.
Yep.
That was like you got to get monetized within 1 year, so 8 months for us. I think it's 1,000.
It was 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours. May have changed now, but yeah, we got there pretty quick, which was really encouraging.
And we start making a few dollars every day, and we sort of start building from that. And we're like, okay, well, we've definitely made more than enough money for our first little show that we wanted to go to, and we just keep building from there.
It's quite funny because what we intended for the money to be used for is not actually something we're really interested in. Like you and I, like it's quite nice to go and look at cars, but I find I prefer to look at cars at like a dealership and like sit in them. And I don't care about old mate Joey doing a skid. Like that's not me. And a lot of those shows are Joey doing a skid and,
But we're doing that
rubber.
to find our feet. We're trying to find where our niches. We're trying to find what content is interesting to us, what kind of does well on YouTube, what doesn't, and we're just sort of learning. And you're right, it comes back to that core thing that you and I connected on was hanging out in the garage, car detailing, washing cars in the garage, watching TV, watching YouTube, and just spinning a yarn, exactly like we're doing now.
And I mean, I think, forward on the channel, what would I want to be doing if we had 100,000 subscribers, right? So a really good audience watching our videos, pulling in enough income to kind of do anything we want in the garage. What would I be doing in the garage? I'd probably be trying to find, that unicorn car and bringing it in and perfecting it.
Yeah.
So for me, it would be doing the detailing, really deep cleans in the interior, replacing parts. It wouldn't be huge modifications. I wouldn't be doing engine rebuilds and stuff, but I would be buying the exhaust. I would be buying all the trim pieces. I'd be doing the stereo. That's what I would be interested in doing.
Tinkering around with
Tinkering.
Stuff.
Yeah. Obviously, it is an interest to, maybe look at doing an engine and doing a really kind of big project, but we need the space to do that as well. So
you need the space, plus you also need another car while that car is redundant so that you can still continue on with your life.
Yeah. Whereas I think what we've been doing has been a lot easier because you can continue to use a car through the week. Really easy to do these small tinkering jobs. So I don't see our channel becoming like, I don't have aspirations to be like a Matt Armstrong or a TJ Hunt, or an Adam LZ. But our own version where, we're looking for perfection in the car more so than like...
doing full builds and all that kind of stuff.
Doing big builds to go and compete and stuff. For me, what I really enjoy doing is standing back after the car's clean, right? It's not so much the process of cleaning it and getting it looking really good, but I love standing at that door over there once I've cleaned the car and I'm about to turn the light out and walk out and just looking back and
that
going,
last little look is like, ooh, yeah.
And occasionally,
boy did well today.
Occasionally I'll sneak another look.
Yeah.
I'll come open the door, turn the light on. Yep, still clean.
So that's your guilty pleasure, you reckon? Just having a little flick back?
Yep. And maybe running the back of the handle on
I like doing that. But do you know what my guilty pleasure is?
Yeah.
I like just walking in and having a little smell of the products.
Yeah.
Yeah. My favourite smelling product of all time is P&S Pearl, which is their soap.
Okay.
Nice lemon scent.
I've got some of that in the cabinet.
The reason why I like that scent is that when you smell it, it gives you that sour lemon feeling in your mouth, like you've got a real sour lolly. I don't know why. It's not the best soap on the planet, but that's what I like.
It's about the product's experience too, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, my other guilty pleasure, so it's standing back and looking at the car once it's clean and going, yep, like, that looks awesome. And then I don't want to drive it.
Yeah.
Like, I really dread hopping in it the next morning and go, I've got to drive this now and, like, get a little bit of dust
it's going to
on
get dirty, it's going to get a little
Yeah.
dusty. But that's the nice thing is that you get it dirty, which means you can then go and do the process again next week, and continue on.
I like pulling every product off that shelf behind me.
Yeah.
Getting out, right now, I use a rinseless wash to clean the shelf down.
Okay.
I use a rinseless wash or a glass cleaner on every bottle.
Yeah.
Make the bottles look real nice, no drips, no runs on them, and then lining them back up and reorganizing.
And reorganize it.
And some days I'll like do a different little. We'll do a little wheel category interior.
Yeah.
Other
So
days
you just like
tinkering.
reorganizing, and reorganizing.
And I love throwing stuff away as well.
Yeah.
And like refining and going,
See,
yes,
for
this is the
me,
best.
I can't. I feel like I have to use the whole product before A, I can refill it up,
Okay.
or B, I feel like I can then replace it off my shelf.
Well, see, if I'm doing that tinkering, I'm filling bottles as we go, and they're all nice and full.
See, if I've got like a crappy interior cleaner that I don't really like, I feel like I'm obliged to use that product before I can replace it. I feel like, nope, I got to fill this up. I can't just go one spray, that's garbage, bin it, and then move on.
I think we've got to do better there because there are so many good products out there.
Yeah, totally.
Life is too short to use a bad product.
Yeah.
So we've got to just start donating those.
Yeah, okay.
You've got to get out of that habit.
Got to get out of that habit.
Yeah.
You reckon we're beyond that now?
I think we're a little bit beyond. Like I don't want to be using the product just to use it up because there's always going to be another one coming in that is going to be not quite as good as that best one. We've got to try them all, but...
Yeah, and I mean, we've tested a lot of products. So how does Omni Garage detailing start?
So detailing, I mean, this could be a whole nother episode in itself. But I remember...
We've been talking for like maybe an hour.
Yeah.
So keep going.
I reckon that we just do a real brief story on that. And we can probably get a little bit more detailed into the business side. But we had done quite a few of our own vehicles at that point. So we'd done the paint correction and coating. And then kind of word just spread around amongst the friend and family group. And I know that turned into a couple of really heavily underpriced details that I did myself. For a couple of friend and family, and essentially I was doing them at cost, but it helped me kind of build that experience.
Yeah, I guess that gave you time on the tools. It gave you time to refine your process with having a time constraint with a customer being involved at that time, right?
Yep. And then I remember I had probably done, it was COVID lockdown time where we were able to kind of interact, and I was still doing vehicles over that point in time. I'd probably done another 4 or 5. And then I remember that I just remember we went out for a beer one night and we started talking about it there because I think you were quite, you go through these stages with YouTube, right? Where you feel like you're putting in a lot and not getting a lot out of it.
Yeah, so that was like a slump period and the channel was not doing well. We had done a lot of videos and you get kind of to the point where you're like, I hate this. I don't want to do this anymore. It's going nowhere. We're making less than $1 a day.
What's the point?
What is the point? Like, I just don't want to have this. It's consuming too much time and you get yourself into this rut of like, I just quit. Let's just quit.
Which I think is where the passion for the topic that we're talking about is pretty important, because if you have no passion there at the same time, there's nothing holding you into it because you're getting no payoff here and I don't like what I'm doing. So at least we had that, okay, we like what we're doing because whether the camera's rolling or not, we're still going to clean our cars and we're still going to buy the latest product. And I just remember at the time going, hey, I don't know how it related to YouTube at all, but going, I've been doing all these cars. Like, there is work there, and it exposes us to, again, more products, more different cars. And I think
and
I
a way
just
of generating an income.
Yeah,
And I
well,
could see the
that's it.
income coming through. And you talking about the prices, and then I think it took you a wee while to convince me or whatever. And because I didn't really want to do other people's cars.
No.
I didn't really want to do that. I didn't really want to turn this into a job.
No, but we launched a website and we started detailing other people's cars. And the type of clientele we've had, it's been more along the lines of full paint corrections and ceramic coatings. We're not doing disaster
We've
details.
priced ourselves to get ourselves hopefully into a level where we're not dealing with the mum van with sick in the back. You know, we're trying to price ourselves to a level where we get nice quality cars, because I don't want this to become a grooming situation where this is a Monday to Friday slog of cleaning some crappy cars for real low money.
No, and I think for us, like, our day jobs are very important to, be able to sustain us the ability to do these passion projects on the side. So we had to have a decent trade-off, time versus money. You know, we couldn't let our day jobs go to take in volume of, cleaning spew off carpets and disaster details. So we pitched ourselves very much as, a premium service, and premium in the way that we're going to use the best products, the techniques that we have found have worked on our own vehicles, and we're not going to let your car leave our garage until we're at the point where we would be happy if it was our own car. Yeah. There were no shortcuts. There were no options.
And
it
we
was
are
one package.
Completely exposed with those techniques by being on YouTube.
Yep.
Everything that we have done on our own cars is available on YouTube. So you as a customer can go and have a look at that and see what it is. So there's the justification about the quality and the care that Omni Garage will take on your vehicle, because it's right there. It's not getting parked at the back of a shop where you hand them the keys, you pay them a bunch of money, and you hope for the best. It's like, we have filmed it. There's no hiding here.
No.
This is the real deal.
And I mean, we're following the same process we use on our own cars. So we're not, we're not being careless. We're not using the same microfiber towel to do your wheels as you paint. We use our ultra rip and rags from Rag Company, and they get thrown away when we're doing coating applications. Like, we chase really hard on scratches to make sure that, we will be happy with it. And I think that was the point of difference that we tried to set ourselves aside as.
And you see that in the packages that we offer. We offer only a limited amount of packages because we don't want to have 47 options and then have all that. It's just very simple. We are going to probably expand that a little bit, but we expand as the business grows, as we get better. But it's very simple because we just give you everything.
And I think transparency was a big one for us as well. We had talked ourselves about how frustrating it was, because I remember before I polished my first car, I went to have a look at maybe I could get someone to do this for me. And everything was price on application, call us for a quote, no transparency at all in terms of the cost or the process or the time.
It's a great business model because you get the client to come in and ring up, and then it's like, I'm going to sell this, 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 and then I'm going to trick you into this. And then all of a sudden you've built this massive package out, and it's about the customer at the end of the day. The questions are like, what do you want done to your vehicle? And we'll design the package around that, and here it is. And then also, you as a customer, how do you know what you're getting? You go to the menu and it's like 47 different options. Mm-hmm. What does a 1 year coating mean? And what does a 3 year coating mean? And what does a 5 year coating mean? And what does an 8 year coating mean? And what does a 10 year coating mean? All it means is the price is getting different, but what does that mean?
Yeah, so we try to keep it really simple. Have really simple options. And I think that we're going to expand on that a little bit, but the principle is going to remain the same. We're going to be transparent. Someone's going to know what the cost is up front, and they're not going to get, talked into all of these additional options that, we're doing based on different variables at the time. Like, transparency is huge for us on that.
And we need to be transparent and honest because we are so out in the media. We're
transparent
so out
right here
on the YouTube. That's right out there. So yeah, absolutely.
So I mean, we've done countless vehicles now. I couldn't even count total how many cars we've corrected and protected now, but a lot. And it's been quite enjoyable because we have been at that price point and we have been professional and transparent. We've been able to work on some really nice, BMWs, Audis, Range Rovers.
And we're dealing with some quite high-end clients,
who have high expectations as well. Yeah. But, hopefully we meet that every time we work on a vehicle.
And these people, their time is so expensive that they, they don't have enough time to do this themselves, but they can afford to come to us and we just take care of their vehicle, and that's what we're offering.
So that's kind of that second arm of where we've kind of gone with it. But no one is more important than the other, and they integrate really nicely together. So we probably need to be a bit more open to doing some filming and making content when we're working on those cars. I think the reason why on the channel you don't see an awful lot, I think we might have done a video on, we definitely did an RS6, we definitely did a X5M Performance. That might have been it on the channel, is because we get so invested into delivering the best result for that customer that pulling out the camera detracts from that a little bit. So we probably need to get better.
We need to reintroduce that, I think.
Yeah, and then we can share some techniques versus being solely product focused, like what we are at the moment. We can show off what we do.
Trying products. And part of that is part of our development and growth is that we need to keep trying products so that we keep refining our processes and knowing where we are, that you see a lot of product reviews as we sort of work through that. But we probably need to do less product review and more into about us and sort of stuff like that.
In the process of doing some of these details. So I guess that's probably a brief summary on the business side.
I feel like we're up to date to where we are currently now. You've heard a little bit about how we've got involved with T.H.O.R Media, and you've heard a little bit about my story, Glenn's story, a little bit about Omni Garage, and, well, not a little bit, it's probably told you everything.
I think so. I mean, there's some gaps we can fill in there, and definitely when we get to the live Q&A, we can definitely dive.
Yeah, so what is the plan going forward? How do you want this to look? So you want it to be...
So in my mind, with, After Hours by Omni Garage, so it's that director's commentary. So I think that we'll probably end up talking about the week that was. What did we work on this week? What are the things that you guys didn't see in the video that we found going through that testing? We might have a particular product or a topic that we talk about. And then we'll probably jump into Q&A and questions from the YouTube channel at the same time.
If you want questions to be answered, write these questions and comments in the video.
Yep.
And also we'll pull through some questions that might be really common from our YouTube channel, and we'll answer about them as well.
I've pulled a couple here for week number 1, and I thought we'd just give this a quick go.
It's week number 1 now. Or
it is week number 1 now. So probably quite topical is I did a video just before we got back on top 25 detailing chemicals. So just a really quick overview of what was on the shelf behind me.
Those ones?
Yep.
Okay.
And we had a comment on there, a couple of comments. Interested to know where you ordered Pan and T.H.O.R products from. Keep checking now and to see if New Zealand is available for delivery on the T.H.O.R website. Like that has been really common for Australians in New Zealand commenting on our videos.
So T.H.O.R Media is definitely, T.H.O.R House of Rags is definitely going to Australia.
Yes.
So you will be able to buy your products from Australia. They'll be able to deliver those to Australia and New Zealand. I think Jamie did mention in the comments there that it is coming. No real time frame, but soon. I know everyone keeps saying soon, but I'm sure there's a lot of background stuff going on there that people aren't aware, but I'll say this now, soon.
Yeah, I think they said a matter of weeks away, so yeah. Hopefully.
And we're excited about that too, because the hardest thing about us is that we're on the other end of the world. We don't really get a good delivery of products. Shipping is really hard. So I'm really happy that T.H.O.R have tried to create that, or tried to fix that problem for us. They stock a lot of stuff, so I'm really excited. So we are just as excited as you guys are in the comments about getting our hands on these products, so that we can all have an opportunity to try new stuff. And yeah,
that was Rev M3 that comment on that one. And then we had a comment here, same video from CS Auto Tech Detailing. So I want to say here, the Detail Co. Age of Iron remover is incredible and has a great smell. Not that horrible rotten egg smell, and works great. Quite honestly, the whole Detail Co. line has some fantastic products. Maniac Wheel Cleaner is a slapper. Great video. So I think what I was talking about, iron, and we're using Car Pro Iron X there, and
I think
off-putting as a smell.
in the industry is actually an iron remover that doesn't smell. There's a few products popping up, and I think that will become the new standard, is an iron remover that smells nice.
I think as soon as those T.H.O.R products are available in Australia, we'll probably buy the whole line, so we've got them here so we can put them to test. Right now, it's just non-economical, is it, to get them all here?
Do we not have a Detail Co.
I don't think we have the iron remover.
Right.
No, we've got a whole bunch of products in that cabinet, but the iron remover is not one of them. And final question here. This is on an older video. Ryobi 36-volt lawnmower. So this would have been a video that we did on your lawnmower, on yours. This is from Patricia Walsh. She said, I've had mine for many years and no problem with the folding catcher. And then about 5 minutes later, she followed up with a comment, fancy Ryobi sending that out to an idiot. I think you might have been having some problems with the catcher.
Oh, really?
Yeah, maybe folding it.
Okay, so I'm an idiot.
Well, according to Patricia,
okay.
Ryobi shouldn't be sending us products.
Appreciate that.
That's a great lawnmower, though. You're still using that,
yeah? I still use it. So I got the 36. I had a petrol mower for quite a long time, and petrol's still around, but the good thing about having a battery-operated lawnmower is that you can stack it up on its side.
Yeah.
So if you're short for space, you can stack that in. You're not having to go down to the shop to buy gas all the time, and I think a battery lawnmower, you wouldn't want that if you had like a half-acre block.
No
But
way.
if you had a nice little small area, a nice little yard, I think you can do absolutely fine with a battery-powered lawnmower.
And Omni Garage, right? In or around the garage. It's why we've done a lot of Ryobi videos on our channel, because they're important for yard work and even some of the garage work that we do. We've got a lot of Ryobi products.
Yeah, we use the Ryobi leaf blower to dry vehicles and all that kind of stuff. So Ryobi products are good. They're right set in that market where it's affordable for the DIY type person, and it's affordable for the people at home. They've got a really amazing range. The best thing about the ecosystem is that once you've got the battery and the charger, either in the 18-volt or the 36-volt range, you're good to go.
Yeah, see, I really love the Ego products as well.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to try and get a hands on like a vacuum and some of the pressure washers and test some of those out.
Yeah.
There's a huge range of battery-focused tools now, isn't there? And everyone's doing it as well. So our Ryobi videos get the funniest comments. Our most popular video on the channel is the Ryobi Edger.
Yeah,
what's that? 250,000 views. And everyone seems to think that that machine is going to destroy the concrete.
Yeah, why are they so annoyed about trying to cut through concrete? I mean, if you get a blade spinning and you go not parallel but perpendicular to concrete, you're going to nick it. But just if you have a metal blade going next to some concrete and it's making that scraping noise, it sounds real bad. And it's like, oh, that's so dangerous. Well, How else do you get your blade between concrete and grass and cut a line?
It's called an edge for a reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't
So comments on that video, they give me a
Okay,
laugh.
so we're going to have a little bit about product, a little bit of bit of substance, then maybe answer some questions. So if you want questions answered, comment in this video. We'll bring them through for next week. Comment on our YouTube channel. We'll bring that through. If we're on live, then you can obviously comment there as well. And then what else did you want to do maybe at the end of a video?
I don't know.
You wanted to maybe me to watch a YouTube or we watch YouTube a lot. So
we watch a lot of YouTube.
So I was gonna watch a video that I really liked or I didn't like or we want to talk about, and you're gonna pick one that you like or don't like, and we'll talk about that, and then we will both watch it, and then we can comment on that video.
Yeah, video of the week. Do some commentary behind the scenes. So it might be another Thor creator. It might be something completely random out there in the YouTube
I think
universe.
it's quite unique, and talk about it and discuss it. Talk about the angles. Talk about maybe some of the struggles.
Yep.
We might have some inside knowledge about that video or whatever, but I think that'd be quite cool.
So that's pretty much it for episode number 1. So.
Nice.
I guess for us, it's, huge thanks again to, everyone at Thor Media for, entrusting us to have a podcast on their channel.
And Jamie and Eddie, I think you guys you've really spruced up the detailing industry. You've built this nice big brand. You've got a lot of brands coming in, and you've really shaken up the detailing world. I'm really excited to be a part of it, and so is Glenn here with Omni Garage. And so, yeah,
I think the most exciting thing is it's been made into a community. So it hasn't just been Jamie doing something or an Eddie doing something. They've really embraced the community aspect, and everyone looks like they're chipping in, helping each other out, giving feedback. So we're excited to be on that journey as well, and
everyone else creating content as well. And Thor Media have done a really amazing job. I've sat back and watched everyone's videos, and I've gone, yeah, you guys are nailing it out there. So kudos to you guys.
So we'll see you guys back next week. Same format again next week. So as Glenn said, if you've got any questions, drop them in the comments below because we won't be live next week. But that's it for today.
All right. Stay tuned.
And we'll see you then.
Catch you later.
Thanks for watching.